Ghost of Tsushima is about riding horses, enjoying the scenery, and relaxing.
This game is about war, killing, stealing, war, kidnapping, burning, war, decapitating, and did I forget to mention?
And with all of that being said, sit back and enjoy the story of Ghost of Tsushima in under an hour. The game is set in 1274 Japan during the first Mongol invasion of Japan. The crazy horn man on the right here is Lord Shimura, uncle to our protagonist on the left, Jin Sakai. He is the Chito of Tsushima, meaning a feudal ruler in the Japanese shogunate. I'm pretty sure that means he's the leader of the island and the general of their army, based on what I see in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. After a very impactful and inspiring speech, he sends in Lord Adachi to 1v1 the Mongols' best warrior. Adachi must be really good at fighting then. Oh, that's just rude. Whoa!
That was easy.
Watching back this cutscene makes me wonder what the Shimura thought was gonna happen. Anyways, we rush into war of course, and we lose because there would be no game if we beat them here. Our uncle gets captured, and we get knocked out. This could have also been the end to the game if Jin didn't pull this off. Jin wakes up after a bit and was understandingly confused. He questioned what was going on, but there was nobody there to explain it to him, so he went to look for his belongings. The Mongols were near, which meant he had to sneak around to survive. He found his armor set in a house, but not his katana. A woman then suddenly burst in telling him to hide. Little did he know, he was in the presence of an S-tier actress. She introduced herself as Yuna and got straight to the point. Follow her if he wants his sword back. She also tells Jin that he was out for a good while, long enough for the Mongols to conquer half the island. They sneaked their way to the sword, but I don't think it was necessary. How did he not see us? Come on now. We find out Shimura survived, and our next goal is to rescue him. Yuna's not down for that because it's suicidal, and the reason she saved us was because she needed our help with something. Yuna then told us she traded our katana for food, so all we had to do is get to the buy ourselves to retrieve it. In the moment, it made sense. She needed food, so she traded for it. But the problem is, spoiler alert, I never saw her eating a single time, so it took a bit of immersion away from me. We get to the house and find the sword by some miracle. A flashback took over with Jin thinking about training with Shimura, a tutorial on how to fight. I kicked his ass. Lucky for him, it's only wooden blades because he would get really injured, huh? You better wish we don't fight him in the future.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
We snap back to reality and Yuna said we need horses to travel, so we plan to take the staple back from Waguru bandits. Yuna advised to assassinate the bandits to make it easier, but there's no honor in doing so. As a samurai, we must face our enemies head on. And honestly, I don't even know why she was so scared. Jin 1v3'd the bandits like a boss. Just 1v3 just like that. We get to the staple, pick the horse, and name them Kage, or Shadow, in honor of Sonic 3 releasing. Okay, you got me. It's because it had the most edge to it. I like Kage. You will be Kage. Following the plan, we make it to the castle our uncle is being held at. Believing in standing by the samurai honor, we face the enemies head on. Everything was going to plan, and nobody was able to stop us until Mr. Chubby turned up. 1v1 me, my boy.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Oh my god, I just got 3-shotted.
That's what she said.
Jin then gets another flashback about his father's death and becoming Shimura's ward. It basically shows us how Shimura became Jin's father figure. That's gonna be important later on. Right now we have other things to worry about, like rescuing Shimura, and in order to do that, we need allies. We also need a new way to fight against Chubby Man, or Khotun Khan, grandson to Genghis Khan. Fighting Khan with samurai tactics won't work because he anticipates it, and it also came up with strategies to counter it. We meet up with Yuna after that near-death experience, and this is where she tells us the reason she saved us. She needed our help in rescuing her brother Taka. Saving Taka will benefit us because he's an expert blacksmith and can create anything that we request. It would be very wise to rescue Taka first if that's the case, so we did just that. We met up with Yuna again after going our separate ways and scouted the Mongol camp. We found ways to infiltrate, and Yuna suggested we go at night because we can attack them easier in the shadows. That completely goes against our samurai code, and we told her we're not going to do that until she brings up a really good point. If we alert them, they might just kill Taka right away. Buying by that thought, we agreed to her plan. We waited till nightfall and got our first assassination kill. Oh, shut up. You're too loud.
Hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear.
What was that? That was man's first stealth kill? That is correct, past me, and it won't be the last. Also, I just gotta say it. Ghost of Tsushima is what Assassin's Creed wishes it could be. Like seriously, the stealth gameplay is what I think Assassin's Creed should be. Anyways, back to the story. We clear out the whole camp and Taka's nowhere to be found, so he must be at another one. They wouldn't kill off somebody so skilled. We freed a Straw Hat Ronin, and he mentions the Mongol talking about moving prisoners to Azamo Bay, so that's where we're gonna head next. Yuna has some friends that could help us, so she went to gather them. We rescued other prisoners and cleared out other Mongol camps in the meantime until she was ready. Doing so earned us more skill to be a better samurai. It wasn't long until Yuna was ready to introduce us to her friend. That friend is a sake merchant named Kenji, and the plan is for Kenji to sneak us into the camp Taka is held at. Kenji can pass the guard easily because who doesn't like alcohol?
You're an alcoholic.
Once inside, we trailed the one in charge of the prisoner until we found Taka. We rescued Taka and got out of there within seconds. We regrouped with Kenji and that was done. Taka is rescued. Before he helps us with anything, he'll need to rest, so we went to gather other allies in the meantime. First up is Ishikawa-sensei, a master of archery that will definitely be helpful for long-range combat. He was supposed to be at the battle before, but didn't show up. Did he overslept or forgot the battle time? Neither. He got attacked by his own student, one of the best in fact. She was going to inherit the way of the bow from Ishikawa.
You were the chosen one!
In order to get his help to save Shimura, we would have to help him track down said student. While doing so, Ishikawa gave us a bow, and it turns out we're just as good as the student. We then found a Mongol camp, and it looks like Tomoe, the student, is teaching the Mongols how to be skilled archers. This is crazy. She's helping the invaders invade her own home. What is going through her mind? After seeing that, Ishikawa became determined to slay the monster that he raised. We proposed a deal to him. He will help us save Shimura, and we will track down Tomoe together. He accepted, and that's how we got our first ally. The second ally we need is our childhood friend Ryuzo. He's leader to the Straw Hat Ronins. Basically a bunch of professional killers. In order for him and his men to help us, we need to gather basic supplies for them like food and water. However, before getting those, we need to save some of Ryuzo's men from a Mongol camp. We first scouted the camp and then went in solo to silently take down everyone. Climbed to the tallest point in the tower to signal an attack after that, and finally clear out the rest of the camp. It was pretty easy. The food and water was next. Getting those was pretty easy as well thanks to my level 100 sneak. We needed to get on a small boat, then to get on a big boat for the supplies. Ryuzo and I went alone to clear the entire boat. Even on a boat, there was no escaping us. We quickly got the job done and Ryuzo was down to help Shimura. That's two. Masako Adachi was next. Another skilled archer or great warrior in general. Her story is about tracking down the killers that murdered her family after her husband and children went to defend against the Mongol invasion. Sounds familiar? Yes, her husband is the first guy Shimura sent to get murdered. We first helped her by talking to a monk and letting him know that she's still alive. Masako was supposed to be killed with the rest of her family, so this will spook him into going back to the murderers. He did just as we thought, and we followed him back to a house full of bandits. We cleared the whole place out and confronted the monk. Masako was very calm about it. Maybe not. But that didn't stop us from recruiting her, because that anger is perfect if it's put to good use against the Mongols during Shimura's rescue. We found a list of names from a rival clan of Adachis, and we assured Masako we would help her take them out. In return, she will have to help us. That's all 3 allies we needed to rescue Shimura. Before we move on, I want to put up a little disclaimer. The side characters I just talked about all have little stories connected to them, but they're not part of the main story, so I won't be talking more about them and will only be focusing on the main story from now on. With that being said, we head to an abandoned forge where Yuna and Taka is at. He should be all rested by now to create what tools I need.
So good and tasty?
I met up with Yuna during the middle of a fight and saved her, talked to Taka, and then went on to defeat waves and waves of Mongols trying to take over the forge. There was a lot more people than just Yuna and Taka there, and they all saw how Jin fought. That was no ordinary samurai fighting is what they were thinking. Collectively, they came up with a new name for him, the Ghost, hence the Ghost of Tsushima. We gave Taka some time to get the forge going by bathing in the hot spring. What is this, bruh? What am I looking at, bruh? What am I looking at, bruh? We needed the rest, but maybe at a more private setting next time. Anyways, we go back to Taka after some time, and he had the new tool ready for us. A hook with a rope attached to it. This is going to be used to sneak into the castle, keeping Shimura. It was finally time to rescue our uncle. We gathered all of our allies and was ready to strike. Well, all except for Ryuzo, but we can't wait on him forever. We formed a circle and discussed our plan for Jin to sneak in and assassinate as many Mongols as he could while making his way to the main gate. Once he's there, let the rest of our allies in to storm the castle. After that, we'll rush to the peak of the castle to rescue Shimura. This is also where my Spider-Man skills from Marvel Rivals came in handy.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man! Hi, neighbor.
We almost made it to Shimura before we were stopped by one more barrier. Ryuzo. This man wasn't late. In fact, he was early. He betrayed us and joined Khan. His reasoning was to provide food for his Straw Hat members, but Shimura would have been able to help him out if he helped us out. It didn't make any sense to me, so we challenged him to a duel and completely destroyed him. He ran away like the coward he is, and we went back to rescue Shimura. Luckily, we weren't too late. United with our uncle again, we combined our powers to take over the rest of the castle. The mission was a success. Our journey was far from over, however. We still have to take down Khan and liberate the rest of Tsushima from him. The next step is to venture further north, taking back control from the Mongols. After taking one of the big forts back, we discover Khan have taken over another castle. We're gonna need more than just single-digit allies this time. We're gonna need a whole army of our own. Yuna proposed to get the Yarikawa people onto our side. That's gonna be a bit difficult due to Shimura's past with them. Yuna advised she'll be able to convince them since she is originally from Yarikawa. We put our faith in her and will join her in case she needs any help. We also meet another important side character named Norio. He's a monk with a story that's not too interesting to tell, so you don't need to know about it. It doesn't even have anything to do with the main story anyways. We travel to old Yarikawa to meet up with Yuna and Taka before going to new Yarikawa. The old Yarikawa was abandoned due to Shimura's past with them. We got to the new one and discovered they were trapped by the Mongols. We sneaked inside and talked to Ujimasa, the head of the village. He doesn't know how relentless the Mongols are yet, so he's making comments like the Mongols will lose interest in them and leave. Little did he know what they're capable of. In fact, they're lucky the Mongols didn't attack already because the best archer that we're fighting left and haven't returned yet. If the Mongols knew about this, they would force an attack right away. Jin came up with a plan to get Ujimasa on our side. We'll go find those archers and attack the Mongols together to free New Yarikawa. That will get the people to fight for us. We met up with Yuna and Taka at Old Yarikawa again to search for the archers. We found them by following marks they left behind from a raided building. It turns out they were following some Mongols that captured a few of the archers. We told them we would help free them and free New Yarikawa altogether. We set up an ambush and waited for an attack. We warned Taka to go back because he can't fight, but he insisted to stay. Seeing how determined he is, Jin let him stay. Jin taught Taka a couple life lessons, and it was time for the attack. We lit up an explosion, and the fight was pretty much wrapped from there. We then returned to New Yarikawa to relax for a bit. Jin hung out with Yuna drinking and telling stories until they passed out. The Mongols decided to attack a day after and we fought with all of our might. There wasn't much firepower on our side, but we held them off at the initial attack. They had siege weapons, so we weren't going to hold on for much longer. Jin ordered Yuna to hold them off as much as she can while he go deal with them. We pull out our ghost tactics and got rid of them in no time. Ran back to the keep and 1v1 the general of this fight. Jin took care of him, but that didn't face the rest of the army, so Jin had to do something a samurai would never do. That was badass. Oh, this is something. This is new. What the heck? Oh my god. Wait, what is this?
ヤリカワの収容一人として猛虎を生きて返すな一人も逃すなヤリカワを守れ
And with that, we not only pushed the Mongols back, but also showed the Yarikawa people they can fight. They might not be samurais, but they're definitely warriors that can push our invaders back. With a little help from Yuna and Taka as well, we were able to get the Yarikawa people to fight for us. We only had 2 more things to do before raiding the castle Khan is at. We got to help Shimura send a message to Khan by raiding another fort and destroying the Mongol ships carrying their supplies. We also have to get our father's armor back home. We helped Shimura send the message first. We met up with him at a camp and then proceed to the fort. We fought every Mongol on the way head on like honored samurais, took control of the cannon they had, and destroyed the ships. Shimura then dropped some very big news. He wants to adopt Jin and have him take on the Shimura's name after Khan is defeated. This is crazy for Jin because Shimura is not only a father figure, he's basically is his father at this point. Jin was of course very happy about that. All that's left now is to get his father's armor and the takeover can commence. We get home and found Yuriko waiting for us. She's a servant of the Sakai household that have been there for Jin since he was just a young boy. She commanded another servant to get the armor cleaned and ready for us. In the meantime, we walked with her to chat for a bit. She mentioned poison for rats in the farm, and that struck an idea for Jin. He asked Yuriko if she's able to create a poison strong enough for humans, and she said it was possible. We told her to make it right away so we can have a new weapon to fight against the Mongols. At the end of the day, we left wearing our father's armor and a new weapon in our arsenal. We're finally ready to take back the castle, so we met up with the rendezvous point. Shimura got wind of some news about Ryuzo being at a nearby fort. He asked Jin if he could take care of him, and Jin agreed he could. We asked Yuna for help, but she insisted that she's done fighting. She's going to be traveling to the mainland with Taka and leaving this life behind. Jin didn't want her to go, but he respects her and didn't want to push any further. This is not her fight. We make it to the fort, and it turns out Taka followed us. We told him to get out of here before he gets caught and dies. But he insisted he can help, so we asked him what is he going to do. He said he'll make a distraction for us to sneak in easier. Since he's only making a distraction and can easily escape, we agreed to his plan. Taka distracted them and we make our way through the fort, assassinating any Mongols possible until we get to Ryuzo. We found the traitor at the top and was about to duel him until he pulled another cowardly move to knock me out from behind. The first thing we saw when woken up is Taka, not something we want to see at all. What makes it worse is Khan being the second thing we see. Khan wanted us to join his side, and of course we said no. He freed Taka and told him to kill us in order to live. I knew exactly what was going to happen next. Don't fight him! No! No, you're gonna die! No! You could have freed me! No, no, no! Ah! We were stunned at first, but freed ourselves. Anger was just the bare minimum of how we feel right now. We will kill Khan, and we will definitely kill that traitor Ryuzo the next time we see him. We recovered our items and proceed to disassemble every one of the straw hats in this fort. Yuna arrived afterwards to discover the thing she feared the most. We helped her bury Taka. She told us she wasn't going to leave for mainland anymore. The reason she wanted to leave is gone, so there's no point now. I promised her we will avenge Taka no matter what. Khan will pay for what he did. We got back to camp to catch up with our allies before discussing an attack plan with Shimura. We talked about the shogun approving the adoption and everything being finished tomorrow. The next morning came, and we charged head-on into the castle. It was chaos everywhere, blood being spilled, lives being lost, but we make it to a doorway that was blocked. Shimura commanded Jin to get to the other side first, while they forced the door open from our side. We climb up to the top and put our new weapon to use. It worked very well and even distracted the general enough for us to get a clean slice through his head. Shimura didn't like that very much because it was animalistic and had no honor, but we expressed that the Mongols have no honor. We'll be at a disadvantage if we only fight one way. He didn't want to hear that, but we'll talk more about it afterwards since we're in the middle of a war. We get to the bridge where Khan is holding out and the Yarikawa warriors charged in. The Mongols ran back, but Khan wouldn't give up this easily, so something is off. We were correct because they send a horse covered in fire with a cart of explosives to detonate the bridge. A lot of lives were unfortunately lost. Shimura then said to get our best soldier, repair the bridge to charge at them face first again. Jin put his foot down and said no right away. The risk is too much and the loss was way too many. Jin proposed to find a way through the bridge and poison the enemy using the shadows of the night. Again, Shimura disapproves. Honor is so important to this man that he's willing to sacrifice his men for it. The confrontation ended with him slapping Jin, and Jin wasn't just going to sit there and let him sacrifice our people. He told Yuna to have the Yarikawa people gather as much poison as they can, and Jin will sneak into the castle to poison the Mongols tonight. The secret operation went just as planned, and the Mongols were finished after one sip of the alcohol. We found Yuzo at the top instead of Khan, but either way, you already know what we will do to this man.
Jin.
New face filters on Instagram today. This is my favorite one so far.
Idiot. The whole army then came to check out the result of Jin's 1v100. You would think they would cheer for Jin, right? I mean, we just took over the entire castle, got rid of a traitor, made the Mongols weaker overall, and did I forget to mention we did all of that without a single death on our side since the bridge incident? Yeah, I think Jin deserves some praise, but no. Instead, Shimura said the shogun would demand a head for who did this. The head of what? The hero? What the fuck? Are you serious? Just like me, Jin was just as angry, so he declared he's not Shimura's son, he's the ghost. He got unfairly locked up afterwards, like, okay. A few days passed, and Kenji, the alcohol merchant from before, came to free us, and notified us that Yuna is up north with our weapon. He helped us sneak out, but we were on our own from there. We moved around carefully without alerting anyone until we got to the horse stable. We bolted to Kage and got out of there as fast as we could. Kage tried his best to get us as far as he could, but he collapsed near the end and passed away due to the arrows from Shimura's army. R.I.P. Kage, you served me well. We were left on foot at this burning village where most of the victims seems to have died by poison. That's not a good sign. It means the Mongols are using our own tactics against us. We almost got out of the village by sneaking around, but at last they found us and poisoned us. This almost became the end of us, but luckily by some miracle, we were saved by Yuna again. We rested up and helped her clear a temple afterwards for a base. It's not a difficult task at all for the ghost of Tsushima, of course. After that, we discussed on our next step. The obvious thing is going after Khan, but we need firepower from our allies like Masako and Ishikawa. We're going to have to clear a path for them to get here. Yuna proposed that she'll attack from Shimura's side of the island since she can get past Shimura's army, and Jin will go meet with Yuna's archer friends to get their help on attacking the north side. The Mongols are blocking the path directly on top of the Sakai household, by the way. It was a solid plan, so we head over to Yuna's archer friend. Jin asked them for help and they wanted something in return. Jin offered them to stay at the Sakai household till spring to dodge the winter, and they accepted. Just like usual, we scouted the place before attacking it and then fully attacking it to make sure no one gets out alive. We reunited with our allies and was ready to take on Khan.
The gang's all here.
We scouted the final base where Khan is at and discovered they have a lot, and I mean a lot of soldiers. This little army of ours probably won't last very long. Since that's the case, Jin decided to sneak back into the Shimura's castle to send him a letter about our attack. If he helps us, great. If he doesn't, we'll risk it all to drive the Mongols off our land. Yuna was scared for us, but she forgot she's talking to the ghost. We got the little side quest done and was ready to attack in minutes. We rested for a bit until the storm hit to improve our attack power since most of theirs are on ships. Once the storm hit, we charged through their soldiers, cutting them down one by one until we got to Khotun Khan. It also looked like Shimura came to assist us. Don't get confused with joining forces with us, only assisting anywhere we failed to cover. We got to Khan and the only things running through our minds are the suffering he made us endure. Taka's death, the samurais on the beach, the villages taken over. This is it. This is where we avenge them all. This won't end like last time, and I know this because the fight started with this.
Then how about this? Bang, bang, bang!
And ended like this. He became another coward though, because he threw some snow at me and had his men take me on. Jin's an expert at fighting as an underdog at this point, so there was no problem at all. In fact, the entire last fight with him are 1v10s. He even swapped weapon time after time again. None of that mattered however, because he messed with the ghost of Tsushima. Jin escaped the fiery boat and reunited with Yuna. The story wasn't over, however. We got a letter from Shimura saying he wants to meet in private to talk about what happened next. It might have been an ambush, but Jin still trusts his father. We met up at where we used to train and discussed in future matters. Reminisce about old times, and then it was time to get down to business. The Shogun have officially declared Jin as a traitor, so Shimura's here to finish the task. I didn't want it to come to this, but he wasn't going to back down. We wrote our final poems and started the fight. Ankh put up a good fight, but he was no match for me. Come on, Ankh! Let it go! It's not gonna end well for you, Ankh. Oh. Yeah, Ankh is dead.
誉れある最後を遂げたい
Oh my god. No, I'm not gonna kill. Because I'm not a samurai anymore. I'm the ghost of Tsushima. If you made it to here, thank you so much for watching the entire video through. I put a lot of hard work into it and would really appreciate a like, a subscribe, and maybe even a comment as well. I've taken enough of your time now. I'm gonna let you go. See you in the next one. Goodbye.